Greetings! You have tuned into HouseLux Estate, your go-to channel for personal and career growth. Here at HouseLux Estate, we're passionate about empowering professionals like yourself to thrive in all aspects of life. One vital tool in achieving this is critical thinking, the ability to analyze, evaluate, and form judgments that can significantly impact your personal and professional success. In this video, we will unveil the process of developing critical thinking skills. So stay tuned. To start with, let's understand what critical thinking actually is. Critical thinking is the process of carefully and systematically analyzing problems to find ways to solve them. It involves identifying, analyzing, and then solving problems effectively by taking a broad, balanced, and informed perspective. Now, why is it important? Critical thinking plays a pivotal role in decision-making. Instead of making decisions on a whim or without a full understanding of the consequences, critical thinkers take the time to understand the problem, gather relevant information, and analyze the potential outcomes before making a decision. Moreover, critical thinking is essential for problem solving. It allows us to break down complex problems into manageable parts, understand the relationships between these parts, and come up with effective solutions. In terms of personal and professional success, critical thinking is equally vital. It helps us to think creatively, adapt to new situations, and communicate ideas effectively. It allows us to understand and navigate the complexities of our world, making us more competent and confident individuals. In a professional setting, critical thinking can lead to better business decisions, more innovative solutions, and a more strategic approach to business. It can help us to avoid costly mistakes and make the most of opportunities. Now that we understand what critical thinking is, let's dive into how we can develop these skills. The first step to developing critical thinking skills is to cultivate intellectual curiosity. This is more than just a thirst for knowledge. It's a drive, a desire to understand not just the what, but the why and how. It's about asking questions, challenging assumptions, and not settling for the first answer you find. To cultivate this trait, start by broadening your horizons. Explore new subjects, read widely, and engage with different viewpoints. Don't shy away from complex or challenging topics. They can often spark the most profound insights. Also, make a habit of asking questions, lots of them. Wonder, ponder, and probe. It's through this questioning process that we uncover new perspectives and deepen our understanding. Finally, embrace the unknown. It's okay not to know everything. In fact, it's beneficial. Recognizing the limits of our knowledge is what drives us to learn more. Remember, a curious mind is a critical thinker's first tool. Moving on, the second step is to practice active listening. This skill is a cornerstone of critical thinking. Why, you ask? Because it allows us to fully absorb and understand the information we're given. It's not just about hearing words, but comprehending the ideas and arguments presented to us. So how can we improve our active listening skills? Start by maintaining focus on the speaker. This might sound simple, but in our distraction-filled world, it's often easier said than done. Next, avoid interrupting. Let the speaker express their thoughts fully before you respond. This gives you a complete picture of their perspective. And finally, don't forget to provide feedback. This doesn't mean you have to agree with the speaker, but rather show that you understand their point of view. Remember, active listening is not passive. It's an engaging process that requires full concentration. Active listening helps us absorb and analyze information, a key aspect of critical thinking. Next up, we need to learn how to evaluate information critically. This is an integral skill in the development of your critical thinking abilities. The first step in evaluating information critically is to assess the credibility of the source. This involves scrutinizing the author's qualifications and expertise, the source's reputation, and the evidence provided. You might ask, is the author an authority on the subject? Has the information been peer-reviewed? Is the source reputable? Does the evidence support the claims made? Next, consider the reliability of the information. How consistent is the information with other sources? If there are discrepancies, why might they exist? Could there be bias or a particular agenda at play? It's important to cross-reference information with multiple sources to ensure its reliability. Now, let's talk about evaluating information objectively. It's easy to be swayed by information that aligns with our existing beliefs, a phenomenon known as confirmation bias. However, critical thinkers strive to set aside personal biases and approach information with an open mind. A useful technique to help with this is the 4 corners of truth. This involves looking at a piece of information from 4 perspectives: what you know, what you think you know, what you don't know, and what you don't know you don't know. By considering these 4 corners, you can objectively evaluate information and uncover any gaps in your understanding. Evaluating information critically helps us make informed decisions. It allows us to sift through the noise, discern fact from opinion, and make decisions based on solid evidence rather than assumptions or biases. This is a powerful tool not only for personal growth, but also for career advancement. The final step in developing critical thinking skills is to reflect and self-correct. This stage is all about taking a step back, examining your thought process, and identifying areas of improvement. Think of it as a self-audit of your mind. You've gathered information, you've listened, you've evaluated, and now it's time to look inwards. Are your assumptions correct? Did you overlook something? These are the questions that need to be asked during reflection. Self-correction, on the other hand, is the active process of rectifying those identified areas of improvement. It's like fine-tuning your thought process. It's not about flagellating yourself for past mistakes, but learning from them and making better decisions in the future. So, how do you practice these skills? Start with self-reflection. Take a few moments every day to think about your decisions and thought processes. Write them down if you can. Journaling can be a powerful tool for self-reflection. Next comes self-correction. Once you've identified areas of improvement, make a conscious effort to address them. If you've been quick to judge, try to slow down and gather more information next time. If you've been neglecting other perspectives, make an effort to consider them in the future. Remember, the goal here is not perfection. It's about continuous growth and improvement. It's about becoming a better thinker, decision maker, and ultimately, a better version of yourself. Reflection and self-correction help us improve our thinking process and decision-making skills. We've covered quite a bit of ground today. We delved into the world of critical thinking, a skill that's not just a nice-to-have but essential for both personal and career growth. It's an art and a science that requires constant nurturing. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane. We started by defining what critical thinking is. It's not about being negative or overly critical, but rather about being curious, open-minded, and thoughtful. It's about asking the right questions, not just accepting information at face value. Then, we learned about the first step to developing critical thinking skills, cultivating intellectual curiosity. It's about going beyond the surface, digging deeper, and exploring different perspectives. It's about challenging the status quo and not being afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Next, we moved on to active listening, which is an integral part of critical thinking. Active listening is not simply hearing, but truly understanding and processing the information. It involves paying attention, showing that you're listening, providing feedback, and deferring judgment. Our journey then took us to the process of evaluating information critically. This involves analyzing the source of the information, checking for biases, and cross-referencing with other reliable sources. It's about being a detective, piecing together the puzzle, and making informed decisions based on the evidence. Finally, we discussed the importance of reflection and self-correction. Critical thinking is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. It's about constantly reflecting on our thoughts and actions, learning from our mistakes, and making necessary corrections. In essence, developing critical thinking skills is about embracing a growth mindset. It's about being a lifelong learner, constantly seeking knowledge, and striving for improvement. It's about being adaptable, resilient, and resourceful, which are invaluable traits for personal and career growth. Thank you for tuning in to HouseLux Estate. Remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Keep growing, keep learning.